know the one with the misunderstood face. I'm a nice person.
You said with the misunderstood face?
Yeah, girl.
No, she needs everything. Ain't nothing misunderstood.
I'm Crystal. I don't even know what my AKA is.
Freedom.
I'm just playing. I'm Freedom Crystal.
And I am Anito. I'm so excited to be here. Amongst some new sisters, ready to be here. So that's what's up.
And I'm Leilani, just happy to be here and have some fun. Have some drink.
Okay, I'm Tia, and I am just excited and very happy to be here and chill with my new group of people and girls.
Hey. So Tia is our newest member.
Hello.
Tia and Rochelle. You ain't introduced Rochelle. How you not gonna introduce Rochelle though?
Okay, so Rochelle is my girlfriend. Me and Miss Rochelle. I made her myself. You know, I'm still working on that and progressing, but this is from Rochelle.
And she's gonna make me one too, by the way.
I'll hook you up. I got you.
So we're together tonight. Two of our special guests, Leilani and Manito. Thank you so much for being here. We're just having a girls' night like we always do. We got the popcorn, the cookies, and of course the Sprite and the wine glasses. Tonight's topic is knowing that it's okay to not be okay. There are several facets to that statement. Those of you that are going through issues, experience anything, I know you cry daily. Some cry behind walls, some cry to themselves in the car because they're afraid to share themselves with people. So today we want to kind of talk to you about that. Me personally, am I afraid to share myself? I don't know. I'm strong. I have an alpha personality. I'm sorry.
She's not.
No, I would say no.
Are any of you guys afraid to share yourselves?
Well, let's talk about that. When you say show yourselves, your representative or your authentic self?
Well, you know how when you're going through something, like for me, I walk around with a smile 24/7, you know. Our signature smile.
Right.
But deep down inside, I could be going through something, but no one will ever know. And I choose at times not to share that.
Yeah.
So is that healthy, I guess?
No.
My counselor says no, it's not. So
Okay.
my dad died August 18th, and I'm still grieving, and I'm going through group counseling. I went through inpatient care at the mental facility, and it was the best experience ever. I was scared because in the Black community, it's more like that's shunned upon. Like
It's very taboo.
you gotta
Absolutely.
stay strong. Plus, I'm the oldest, and I always was raised like I gotta take care of my sister and even my mom. But I broke, and I'm not embarrassed to say it, but I would go through. Everybody would say, "How are you doing?" And of course, what's your first reaction?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Yeah.
But you're not, right? You
No.
got 20 million things wrong with you.
Yeah.
So why do you think that you say fine?
Right.
Like, why do you think you just
Because you're
automatically say
fear.
fine?
Fear of breaking down, fear of being vulnerable.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would say for me, I think sometimes it's not wanting to burden certain people
Okay, that's me.
with the issue at the time, but it depends too on who I'm talking
Who
to
you're
and
talking
where I'm comfortable. And sometimes I just hit a limit that it's like, okay, I'm about to be real. No, I'm not good.
Yeah.
Right.
So you have to be real with
So
yourself.
that's good. Because I say fine all the time because I don't think anybody wants to really hear all the things that I feel at the moment. But you have to be vulnerable, and vulnerability doesn't mean weakness.
Absolutely.
And I've had to learn that the hard way.
I can relate to that because I can say sometimes you need somebody and you could be running away and don't even know you're running away and just, I'm good, I do that a lot, but I also kind of scream for help. Like I'll be talking and I want that help, but I just don't know how to go about it or how to say it. I don't like to just come out there and say it. I don't like to just be
sound
like,
needy.
Yeah,
I'm needy and weak.
Yeah.
But Tara, you've been instrumental in my healing. Like, I don't care if I feel like, whether I feel like answering the phone, whether I feel like answering the text, you're going to get to me, okay? You're going to call Tana, you're going to call,
I'll inbox it on Facebook. I sure do.
So, because I tend to
I love
isolate
you
when
I'm
everything
concerned.
isn't okay.
It's hard. It's hard. I can't say that I've been in your shoes yet. We all will lose a parent. But Mike,
he was important.
He was important to me. So we grew up with you guys across the street, so that hurt just as much. So me not checking on you, you know, what type of person would I be? Because I know you're hurting.
Sometimes I feel like daddy's acting in your body, okay? Because I know he wouldn't want me to be so depressed and isolated, but that's the first thing I do, you know?
Yeah.
I don't want to answer the phone, I'm not answering the text, I'm just going to sleep the day
The whole day away.
And that's another thing, when you talked about, I know he wouldn't want me to do that, and that's I'll say the stigma, the superwoman syndrome. And we have to put the S on our chest, and even though, yes, our family know that grieving is part of the process, but taking the S off our chest, especially in our Black community where faith is so highly driven, like, well, you know, the good Lord is going to help you. So it's almost like you got to suck it up, but not realizing that grieving, if you look, even in the Bible, if any faith-based practice, that grieving is part of the process to build or cultivate who we're becoming. Because it's an extension of the legacy.
And everybody's grieving period is different.
You can't put a time limit on it.
You can't put a time
You
limit.
can't put it.
I'll
I'll put it this way: it'll be almost 7 years for my dad, and each is 4 siblings, and each one of us did grieve totally different. I can't like I just had my wedding in Mexico not too long ago, and it kind of hit me like my oldest brother walked me down the aisle, but my dad didn't. Or, you know, it was moments while I was there like, dang, he's supposed to be here, but he's
I
not.
still break down when I think about marriage in the future, and I'm like,
Yeah.
he never got to walk either one of us
Yes,
down the aisle. He
yes,
never,
yes.
you know.
And I was the only child that wasn't married. So, you know, it's like he wouldn't be able to experience or meet my husband or know all that stuff. But then in the back of my mind, I'm like, but I know he's here.
Yeah.
But it's an everyday process. It's new. Nobody can tell you how you gonna do it.
That's right.
You just have to do it. One thing I learned was whatever I felt in the moment, I experienced it and breathed and got past it.
Yeah.
Right?
I can tell you with granddaddy. So her dad is my granddad. I can tell you with him, I grieve totally different. I'm still grieving. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Totally different. So my thing with him, my grievance is, okay, I'll start feeling some type of way about missing him or something like that, right? But I gotta do something that he used to do. So I'll be walking around in his house slippers or dragging my feet, and I'll say something he used to say and walk around like that. I just have to do it. Like, it's like, oh, let me do this real quick and crack myself up, and I just think about that and laugh. But with grievance, I realize with me, every person is different.
Yes.
So my grievance with my grandfather isn't the same with my brother's father. It's everything, everybody grieves differently.
And each experience will be different. But some people won't understand even though they say they understand. That was another thing I learned. Like before my father passed, I can remember telling my friend, she had lost her mother and it had been like almost 7 years had passed, and she was like, I just got all these books and I don't know. And me not knowing, I was like, girl, just pack it up. Come on, what's wrong? But once my father passed, I swear that following week I had to call her and apologize because you just don't understand that connection of this item is just so important, or this thing he used to do was so important. So
And
some people,
so many things trigger the memories.
Yes.
A lot of words, you know.
Yeah.
At my daughter's school, there's a grandfather who he's obviously their grandfather. He picks his 2 grandkids up from school, and every day when I see him picking up his grandkids, I start crying because I'm like, man, my dad was 66, and I got a 5 and a 12-year-old. He's missing out on all, But then I look and I have to see the blessing. I'm 42, and that's the first person close to me that passed away, and he lost his mom at 29. His dad died when he was 8. So
my dad and my dad's dad died when he was 5, and my mom's dad died when she was 12. But her mother died when she was 3 or 4. So it's like you have to really cling on to the blessings that you do have. Like now it's like being with my mom, it's like, okay, I need to value and treasure the moments that I have with her, no matter whether it's just a simple thing, because nothing is promised for tomorrow.
Right.
And you don't want to think about it, but I know her and my dad was the love of their lives. They loved each other, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, Inseparable, right?
Literally inseparable.
So, you know, it's like, in one sense, it's like, I miss my dad, so then I could never imagine what she's going through,
Right.
losing this man that she was with since,
Lives.
and so, it's like, everybody is a different level, but one thing I know for her, like, she writes, and one thing that helped her, though, was her little sister, when her little sister was born,
Layla.
oh, my mama came alive. Like, that was her. She found her life again. Like, y'all can't talk about her later. That's what I'm going to say. But you have to find what's good for you, but don't deny the feelings.
So what do you do, Benito? You know, just, you are so positive. Every time I see you, there is a smile on your face. And I know with the position you hold a lot. And even with your company outside of your 8 to 5, there's a lot of stressors for you in your life. So outside of grieving, there are other things going on in people's lives. How do they cope? What would you suggest?
And just to piggyback, because I've seen so many losses. I lost a boyfriend by gun violence. I laid on my grandmother till she died, took her last breath. So, and it was like a lot of things were happening in high school, so I attempted suicide. And the reason why it become a part of why I smile and why I'm so, to be able to extend that compassion is understanding the truth of it. Because before it was like, oh my God, why did all these things happen to me? And this is difficult. And that's when I'm like, and kudos to you. I like praise you for getting help, because I didn't know how to get help. I just kept it inside and led me to wanting to attempt suicide. But that's why I do it, understanding the why. And I had to dig deep in and say, okay, why am I here? Because I questioned that. It was like, all these people are leaving my life. And life is so difficult, and where is the joy in that? And digging and doing the work, I went from focusing on the hurt, and I started to gravitate to people who smile, who always seem to be uplifted. And I know they went through the struggle. And if you look in the Bible, I'm a passion person by my faith, it said get an army. You cannot do this alone. That's why I'm like, thank God you are getting your army. And my army consists of some people in my family, friends, psychologists, spiritual advisors, and they became the people who shared not just the grief they went through, but the process and how they did it. Like when you were sharing, like this is an army. And holding on to that, then I started to find purpose. So I would advocate for any woman who's going through anything, please get an army, people you trust. Like when she say, I know you're gonna call and check on me, that means everything. Because when you're in a place of when there's a deep despair and you talk about no one understands that, and you're right, because it could just come out of the blue. Being able to have that army and say, I need a prayer, just listen or let me grieve, means everything. That's part of the healing process.
That hearing, that listening is so important. Like, just if I need to be an ear, that's my thing now. Like I can say, if you just need me to be an ear or a prayer partner, I don't have to say anything. I know how important that is. Because honestly, it's the day after the funeral, right? Because during the process of, you got two family and everybody there, right?
Right.
It's the day after the funeral when it gets hard and everybody leaves and you're alone with your thoughts.
That
was the hardest part for me, and I like to suppress everything and isolate, and it led me to a mental breakdown. And I had to check into the mental hospital, and I'm not embarrassed to say it. You
shouldn't be.
I was embarrassed at first, but after getting stronger, I'm like, no, that was mighty brave.
And we were talking about that because not many people would do that because it's a stigma, especially in the Black community. We don't believe in psychiatrists and counselors and psychology. We believe in our faith. And granted, faith is thebomb.com, but God also put people in place to help you get through anything.
I totally believe it.
And I was going to school for Christian counseling, so I totally believe in it, and I totally see the difference in effects. Yes, I've done counseling even with her.
I'm getting your number.
And when I tell you, it was like,
I got a wig to counsel.
You find that, some of your triggers is not even pertaining to maybe the death at the moment. Some of your triggers are pertaining to childhood. Some of your triggers are and it's okay.
And that's what the journey has taught me. Like, I've been dealing with depression and anxiety for a long time. You know, the death just was a trigger, and it made me realize I needed help. But and going through the therapy, I'm like, man, this is helping with my everyday life, not just the loss of my dad. You know, so.
And that's power in talking about it. Like you were saying, when you said I went through isolation, that's what we tend to do. I'm gonna deal with this on my own
Just
because
go to
somehow,
sleep and wake up and deal
right,
with it tomorrow.
not
But
really.
it's the same.
It's the same thing because we're in the frame. So it's like, how can someone in the frame look on the outside looking and say, this is what needs or how to do this differently?
Right.
And when you start talking more and more about it, there's power. So I talk about suicide all the time, and it bridged this gap or the stigma because it's like nothing's wrong with you.
Yes.
We just no one is not talking about it.
Right.
It's okay. It's okay to say I'm not well,
Yes.
and it's not like, oh my God, she's having a mental issue. Like, no, I'm sad.
I'm
I'm hurt. I don't know how to deal
exactly.
with this or whatever that is. That's power and sharing. So I'm just like, I just love you because thank you for sharing. Yes.
Yeah, part of me is not embarrassed. It was life changing, so, and I needed it. I'll probably be in therapy for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I advocate for that. I'm an advocate for that.
That's
Yeah.
okay, because we are not, I mean, we are raised to be strong, and I get it, but, honey, you have to release.
Yes.
That's why strong
Someone.
people need help too.
Yeah, and those are the ones that you gotta check on. Like, this one right here check on me all the time. Because she know I'm a ticking time bomb.
You said
And-
that, right?
Yeah.
I know.
But, you know, Crystal will pray for me. God has sent her to me for a reason. And everything that has transpired within the year that I've known her is just absolutely like, wow, it's nothing but God. So that's my release. That's my person. That's
But then,
my
even
go-to.
though
And then
I was
all
in
my
her
other
ear 2
girls.
days ago, and I was able to, because I am the one that, you know, I try to be the positive, the uplifting one. Keep it together, you know, and then it's like, sometimes you be wearing a mask because you want to be strong for your mom, or you want to be strong for my niece, or whoever. And luckily, I can say Duran, my husband, he see through it, so he'll probably break me down. But I can call her, and she'd be like, "You having a good day?" And I was like, "No." Like, I'm really not. She's like, "Wait, what? What's going on?"
Right, I had never heard her say that. I'm like, Crystal, wait a minute, hold on. All right, rewind.
Yeah.
But Crystal's human.
That's right.
Crystal's
Yeah.
human.
And I've learned,
Exactly.
I've learned to be okay because I've had a bout of depression. I've had a bout where I didn't want to be here. And it wasn't due to death, but it was due to having an abortion. And like, I'm like, oh, this was the worst thing ever, hit rock bottom. So knowing to say, okay, no, I'm not good. No, it's not good. And this was what's going on. And I felt like I just kind of spilled everything on her, but I know that she's going to pray. And she listened, and I know she's going to pray for the situation and everything that's going on. And they'll be like, okay, cool, we good. I'm good. And like now I'm like, I'm cool. You know, just know when I come over.
She pays it forward because you check
Yeah.
But no.
She in turn calls me. You know?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And like having that
someone-
circle. Like I got all my girls, even people in the
Support.
audience, my sister,
Yes.
Veronica, Nancy. I mean, Famika, she's not here today. You know, call her Mika from time to time to have her make us smile. I mean, it's so many people that you surround yourself with. You know, it's about your clique. It's about your village.
But you know what? I've noticed too, because sometimes it be people. I do forget sometimes, but I try to wake up and say, Lord, who do you want me to pray with, pray for? Who do you want me to seek, or just show me who to? And sometimes He puts somebody in my spirit and say, pray. Sometimes He'll put somebody in my spirit and say, call. Sometimes I could be at a school, because I work for the school district, and the teacher walk past me, or a parent walk past me, and you could just sense it. So sometimes you just have to kind of, because you are about to be, okay, Lord, thanks. You're about to be a tool.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I believe that I love that I have a testimony. You know, I just want to influence others and inspire others. And I've been through a lot. Bad love, bad relationships. I'm a single mom, but I'm strong.
Look at you standing. Exactly.
Whatever it is, I do. You know.
So just be prepared
Excuse our sign
for,
that fell down.
be prepared for being the two. This is the time too for preparation. So this is the time that you seek Him, This is the time for prayer. This is the time to have your alone time with him. And this is a lot of things that I feel like a lot of people tend to forget, especially us in the Black community in the church. Be real with God.
Absolutely.
I'm mad, I'm angry, Lord.
Yes.
Whatever you feeling, you have to be real with your Father. If
I've
you
been
saying
angry
this
with
your
God.
daddy.
I can admit, I've been angry with God. Like,
Oh,
why would
yeah.
you take my dad? Like, what a bond to break, you know?
And I'm happy that you catch this early.
Yeah.
Because it took me some years. I didn't even know I was angry with God because I had the mask on for God.
Yeah.
And it took me to go to a mission field in another country on the last day of the trip. And I'm praying for a lady for her blindness, praying that she'll be able to see. And I'm like, well, why won't you heal her? I walked away kind of mad because he didn't heal her. He was like, you're not mad because I ain't heal her. You mad because I ain't let your daddy live.
Come on, man. Come on.
Did you just check me? I'm here on a mission trip. What you mean? I'm good. And it broke me. I had to go in a room by myself, and it broke me to say, like, oh, Lord, I am mad at you. Why did you take my daddy? That's my daddy. This, that. And it's okay.
I still don't understand it, but I gotta accept it, you know?
Even, you know, I'm telling you, it was the holiday season. I had came to town from being out of town, and my daddy, I'm like, something not right. He not walking right, or he couldn't stand. So I'm like, oh, we just gonna take him to the emergency room. They gonna give him some IV. He gonna be good. And we like, y'all keeping him. Okay, what? He needs some overnight treatment. Then it turned to his lung is damaged from all the, I don't know, chemo or something. What do you mean his lung is damaged? And why didn't you what do you mean? So we spent New Year's in the hospital. But I can tell you now, we was a blessing while we were there. And then the day he passed, I was like, I don't understand. And they were like, it's time to come back and say goodbye. I don't want to see my father like that. I want to see when he was up. So I'm the only one that didn't go. So I had a worship service in the middle of the aisle. Was I happy? No, but I'm going to praise you, Lord, because I had a good father.
Yeah.
I had a daddy.
I had a good, right.
I had a
My
daddy
dad was my
that
best
loved
friend,
me.
so.
And we didn't get along all the time, but I had a daddy. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And the next day when I was trying to go back to work and my job told me, oh, you have to go back to the hospital and get a note. Now I got to go back in this building
Where I just lost my dad.
where I just lost my daddy.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have all these different,
It's
everything,
just,
right?
It's insensitive, and I feel it because my job told me, well, do you know you've been off 11 days?
oh,
I said, I don't care, 11 years doesn't seem long enough.
And then-
this is my dad.
But the
know?
thing is, they want you to come back to work
They
because,
just-
you know,
like,
I ain't trying to be funny, but they bury their people early.
And my manager
Don't
told
say.
me, she said, well, I lost
They die
my
today,
dad.
they
I
bury
already
tomorrow.
lost my dad, so I know what you're going through.
No, you
No,
don't.
you don't.
You never
There's
will
no
know.
empathy.
Nobody
Yeah.
will
You
ever
would know.
experience that same hurt.
But the
Everybody's
experience so
different.
far has taught me to don't take anything for granted
Yes.
and just show the ones you love just how much you care, because you never know, and live every day to its fullest.
Absolutely.
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 My dad went to sleep on a Friday and didn't wake up on Saturday, you know, and I just talked to him on the phone. And bam, he had a brain aneurysm. He's the smartest man I know. Eric can tell you. Very resourceful, just a lot.
And you said living life to the fullest, so you're talking about why do I smile? Because when you go through so much hurt and you're seeing so much despair,
Yes.
and you start realizing how valuable and how blessed we are to be able to have breath.
Absolutely.
And then I started getting the power of forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And when you were talking about getting on the floor, and I was like, and I finally said, I do not trust you, God. I've seen too much. I've been hurt too many times. And that was the breakthrough. It was like, even though it was the process of what seemed to be a loss, it was the revelation of who God really is. And experiencing God on a whole nother level. And allowing people to come in. And God was like, I never asked you to trust people. I said, trust
Yes.
me.
Yes.
And when I
Yes.
started to trust him, then I started to give trust to other people.
Yes.
And then when you start to give trust to other people, you start to heal people. Because what women talk about, I don't trust a lot of women, or I don't trust men. So when I started to replicate God's spirit, then it's easier to share because it's not nothing like shame anymore. It's like, this is
That's
my
right.
extension of shades to say that
Exactly.
this is
Yeah.
how we
Amen.
heal
Yeah.
in our own way.
Yeah.
Because this is your story.
Yeah.
And this is your power. And she was like, the tool, yes, you are.
You gonna be too.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, just ask him how to prepare, but this is the time for him and you, because he's about to strengthen you even more. So you're gonna be too.
And speaking of Tua, Tara, because you see the connection, Tara asked us to sit here at this moment.
Yeah.
You putting this on for people to see.
Yes.
During the holiday times when it's to say that when people are depressed the most, how many people are going to be healed through this? So thank you.
And how many times did I tell you, Tara, I'm not doing that. I can't do that. My anxiety.
She
I just
walked in
said
the
it.
door saying
Yes,
that she
Wow.
couldn't do it, and she is doing an awesome job.
And she
It
She
feels
loves
good.
to-
It feels
she
good.
came
to
up
let
She
it
sure
out.
did.
You
Wow.
I would have never had thought you had said that. I would have never had thought you had
I
said
kept
that.
saying, no, I'm not gonna do it, you know. So,
Wow.
but it feels good to let it out, and you know, I just have like I'm kind of a perfectionist in some things, and it feels good to show your vulnerability to people you can trust with, and they don't judge you. You know,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
you gotta know who you can be vulnerable around too. But
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know,
But he gave you discernment because you don't know me.
Your army.
I don't.
But this
But-
is your new army, though.
Hey, lady.
Hatia and Rochelle. We love Hatia and Rochelle.
Y'all out there too. Hey, y'all.
I just want to take her everywhere.
I know, I just love her.
Look.
Listen, is she going? She's
You can call me.
Yes.
I can bring Rochelle too. I can, babe. I love it.
Why do I love her? She's awesome.
Look, that's her daddy child right now.
I know she loves your auntie loves you.
I ain't worried about it.
But no, I think this is a needed topic. Like you said, the holidays usually is where you feel it the most,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
And I even think about, I was telling an idea to Tara of a project that I want to do, and part of the idea is how, when I can remember being single, and then during the holidays, being single was,
It was hard because everybody went to boo. You
But
did
not
your
even that.
Christmas song.
you know, you have the whole, like, all my siblings are married, right? And they have kids and stuff like that. And so I'm coming to the family gathering and it's just me. So it's like, yeah, I love y'all, but I really want to leave right now. 'Cause y'all all in love. Y'all, you know. And so when you're single, you have that. And then a lot of people think that when you get married, you just forget. No, you don't forget those trials and tribulations. And so I know I have some friends out there that are single during this holiday season and they're feeling it really bad. But talk to everybody. Don't talk to somebody just because they're married. Don't talk to somebody just because they're single. Talk to everybody that God sends you to. Because if you're not okay, you're not okay, and it's okay.
Amen. Yeah, it's okay
okay.
to not be okay.
That's
You
right.
know, point blank period. Nobody can judge you. And if there is someone judging you, that person's not for you.
Yeah,
no.
It's time for you to start deleting people out of your life. Period. You don't need the negativity. You don't need the doubt. You don't need the judgment.
And you know, I find too that when you're not okay, He'll surround you with who you need to be around. But when you're okay, you don't have to get rid of them. Just be the light.
I love that.
That's good. I love it.
Be the light.
Hashtag be the light.
Be the
What?
light.
Hashtag be the light.
That just rung a bell. It was like,
Just be the light around those people that,
be the
you
light.
know,
I couldn't even.
because I can remember when I wasn't the best of person, the best of friends, the best of girlfriends, the best of,
We've all been
you
there.
know what I'm
we
saying?
all been there.
And
Yeah.
so I know that somebody was a light around me, even though I might have been silent. So I pray that I'm that light. And I pray because you're a light to me. And y'all ladies are a light to me even today, even just meeting you.
Yeah.
So I just feel like God has a purpose.
And when you say the light, yes, let's talk about that. I was one of my other depressive states. So my ex-fiance proposed on Christmas. And when he did that, I knew instantly in my gut of guts that
It wasn't
the one. But
Really?
because he did it, I was like, finally, I'm 30. I made it.
Oh my God.
I made it. I made it.
I'm sit back. Wait. Deja vu. I'm sit back and just be like this.
Yeah.
And I knew, but I was like, finally, I'm 30, I got my home, I got the man, he's fine, I got his family's dope, but I know he's not the one, but I want to suppress this. And
Listen.
we stayed together in the most toxic relationship ever. And I was so angry at God because it was toxic, because I had a lot of pain within myself, and sometimes we reflect and mirror the people we attract.
Yeah.
And
For sure.
when it was over, and I remember that Christmas came, and I was laying on a bed, and the way I managed that pain used to be listening to Phyllis Hyman. If anybody knows
Oh,
Phyllis
God.
Hyman,
We all gonna die together.
we would that was
Even though that's my girl.
I
Like,
love
I love
her.
Phyllis Hyman,
But
but-
she can take you to a place
Girl, listen.
that can just bring out all the pain.
Yeah.
That was my old trigger, and I was like pacing and groaning. I was like, how am I gonna do this, God? And not on Christmas. And because I decided to listen to him, and he was like, go to the homeless shelter. And it was snowing outside. I was by myself. I'll never forget this. And I'm like bawling, and I'm like, I don't got the strength to do that. And I went to the shelter. It was super cold. And I remember walking in. This man was like, "Yes, Lord." He was like singing like that. I was like, I'm not joking. He was this man, this black short man. He was singing. He was like, you here to help at 6 a.m.? He was like, put something on, wash your hands. That's how he was. It was like really straight to the point. And we didn't barely talk. He was like showing me how to clean. My focus was on service now. So I'm cleaning, and then it wasn't towards the end. And he was because when I went to a few homeless shelters, sometimes they forget that we're feeding people.
Yes.
We're not feeding dogs. So
Yes.
he made sure everything was clean. The counters were clean. I just honored this man. And towards the end, he was like, "So why are you here?" And I told him my story. He was like, "Oh, let me share with you how I got here." He said, "I was on crack. I was homeless, and he was like, this was my last resort." And he said, they helped me. And he said, I found God, and now he was the director of the kitchen.
What?
And he was like, it's going to be okay. You have a story, and you're here to help. And all these people just gravitated to him. And I was like, look at God. If I can change the narrative, because I wanted to go to my Phyllis Hyman, I wanted to go into get some wine, I wanted to drink this and cry and isolate. And he was like, you just trust me
Do something else.
and do something for someone, I will heal you. And when I say I laughed and smiled all that Christmas, it was like he was my best friend forever.
Wow.
But that changed my life, and I knew that's when you were talking about the tools. So here he is using this light on the pain. He should, when he shed his light, I could be a light to others.
someone else.
And that's when I was like, yes, preach that about light, because it's easy to talk about the people or the hurt, but let's talk about the victory in the pain. And you got a lot of victory. We all do. Not you. I just know because of this moment, but we all do.
I was gonna say, Deja, best testing.
We'll talk later.
Yeah, so your story, Lord Jesus.
But God.
Right. See how we brought it to like, don't worry, you told me to sit here. Right. Don't sit to your twin.
Well, guys, thank you
Exactly.
for joining us for another episode of MIPJs. Knowing that it's okay to not be okay.
Yes.
Hope you enjoyed us. Thank you to our special guest, Leilani and Manito. Well, we are about to take a little nap. It's late, so we're going to go to sleep now, okay? After we finish our beverages. Join us next week. Actually, you know what? Join us next week. I think we're going to air it Sunday next week because of the holiday. But we'll definitely let you guys know. Again, thank you. Have a good night.
Laughing and talking, the popcorn is